What are your reactions to Arthur and William?
My original reaction was that, oh, this is a sports documentary. And I thought it would be really boring, but they introduced Arthur, who was playing on a basketball court with all these other kids in a playground in his school. And he was actually really talented. He showed him scoring lots of points against almost everybody that was on the court. And then they introduced William, who was also playing on the court, who was just about as talented as Arthur, or they at least say they picked him as such. And while I thought it was boring at the beginning, just because I'm not really a big fan of sports, I found out through the end of the video, I had a change of opinion because this documentary wasn't just focusing on the sports that Arthur and William were playing basketball, but it also focused on the problems that they went through 5 years of their life, throughout their entire high school career. And it delved itself into topics more than sports, such as race and class, living in the slums of Chicago and such. And as it turned out, I actually got really interested after about the first 20 minutes of the video.
Of Arthur and William.
Comparing Arthur and William, the filmmakers, well, they started with them at the playground at the basketball court next to the school, and they tried to parallel their lives for a course of 5 years, from freshman year of high school to freshman year of college. And after the filmmakers filmed them, a scout named Earl, who was scouting for the basketball teams for the high schools, was going around the playgrounds looking for kids. And he picked Arthur and William because they showed a lot of promise on the basketball court. Arthur was really ambitious for basketball. They showed Arthur sitting at home watching basketball NBA games with his family, and he would tell them when Isaiah Thomas was on, he'd be like, "That's me," okay? And family members would be supporting him, and they tell him that can be you on the basketball court in the NBA. While William, he was a bit more professional in his playing. He's more like closer to an NBA player, while Arthur was more of a street player. In schools, the schools they went to, both of them went to St. Joseph's, which was a really upper class school in Chicago. I think it was Chicago. It was in Chicago. Anyway, and they were sent there, and they were expected to be really good at basketball and in their academic studies to stay at St. Joe's. And Arthur didn't really live up to the teacher's expectations for his academic studies or in the basketball court. So they ended up forcing him to leave St. Joseph's and go back to public school, which is where his academics started to degrade to borderline failure. William stayed in St. Joseph's because he had a scholarship from Encyclopedia Britannica, and he showed a lot of promise for the basketball team. And academically, he was doing all right, and he really tried really hard to do good. But like Arthur, his studies were starting to degrade, and that worried the coach and the rest of
The families, their strengths and weaknesses and values of the Gates and Gates and Arthur's family.
William's family, they seem to be pretty close. Like the Agee family. Although sometimes it seemed that William's brother Curtis was kind of distant from the rest of the family. Mainly because he was struggling to find a job of any kind in the city. He had a background similar to Williams. He wanted to play in the NBA, but he was not able to fulfill the expectations for the people at the schools or anywhere. Um, Also, his family, I know they wanted to support William as much as they could, but oftentimes when William, like as for example, he injured his leg during a game, and he had to take he wanted to take the free throw, which was the deciding factor for one of the games for St. Joseph's. While he injured his legs, he still took the free throw anyway, and he ended up missing, and their team lost. But the his family, they were there for him, but his brother seemed kind of harsh on William because he has really high expectations for William. He wants him to be in the NBA, and that's one of the problems with William, as well as because when he gets into college, being in the NBA doesn't. His dream of being in the NBA isn't as strong as it used to be, and he stops focusing on being a good basketball player and starts focusing on trying to live up to everybody's expectations.
Is that, oh,